Well, hello everyone. It's time for Ballcap Bible study, and you're seeing this Monday or Tuesday or whatever. I just got back home from the Sunday night handbell choir service. It was good. They are so talented, and you can tell they work hard, and they blessed us. Lots of visitors tonight. It was really good. So. Just wanted to share that with you. I'm doing this uh, tonight on Sunday evening because I have to be at church a little bit early in the morning to pick up some folks for a breakfast. So anyway, what are the announcements we have? Of course, uh, many of you won't see this until after Tuesday. I know some of you don't receive it from your leaders until later in the week when they send out all their emails and stuff. But if you see this on Monday, uh, don't forget that Tuesday we have Leisure Live Wires. It's a big Christmas concert. We've got our own Randy Parsons, who leads Ozzy's Capitol Hill High School alumni choir, and they are good. They are tight. Matter of fact, it's a command performance. We've asked them to come back, by popular demand 3-4 years in a row. So they're really good. And this is their last performance. Randy's hanging up the baton. I hate it because they're so good, but this is their farewell tour, and their last concert is with us. And so you'll be blessed by that. It's a good meal. It's pot roast and glazed carrots and salad and all that stuff. I think mashed potatoes and gravy. So for $5, you can't beat that. So we'll be doing that. Also, we've got our Christmas Eve services coming up, ironically on Christmas Eve. So this year it's a Saturday. So we're going to do that at 2 and 4. When it's during the week, when it's a Thursday or a Friday, we usually do that just a little bit later, like a 3 and 5, a 4 and 6, something like that, so that people can get off work and come to the Christmas Eve service. Usually a lot of people get off of work a little bit early on Christmas Eve. Well, hopefully you don't have to work this Christmas Eve. We understand that you can't shut down hospitals and prisons and police officers and fire departments and stuff like that. So pray for the folks that have to work this Christmas. I used to be one of those guys, and it's a bummer sometimes to not be with your family, but you adjust. You kind of flex it out and make it all work. Well, so the Christmas Eve services will be at 2 and at 4 on Christmas Eve. So that'll be, the normal, beautiful, moving, touching candlelight service and all that there at the end. So then on Christmas Day, that's a Sunday, since Christmas Eve is a Saturday, we'll have the one service in the worship center at 10:30. Now I've heard rumor that some classes might show up at 9 and do something anyway. Hey, that's between you and God. If I don't know that the church will be open at 9. That's the problem. So you may have to do that in somebody's home, or because I think if you come up at 9 and it'll go chicka 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 chicka. You won't be able to get in the door. All the lights will probably be red. So anyway, we'll look at that. We'll have a good time. Now that's going to happen 2 Sundays in a row because the next Sunday is the 1st. Christmas and New Year's Day are exactly a week apart every year. So if Christmas is on a Sunday, New Year's Day is going to be on a Sunday, and we're going to do both of those. One service, no Sunday school, no connect group at 10:30 in the worship center. So they'll both be good. But I think I want to say January 1st we have a guest preacher. So just come and worship. It'll be a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to it. So then about the only other, there's no Leisure Live Wires in January. We skipped that. Winter Bible Study will begin Sunday night, January 8th with Bobby Kelly, and that'll run, Monday or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Winter Bible Study. Look for that. On other announcements, and then no Leisure Live Wires in January. I'm trying to think of anything else. So a lot of things will start back up, like for you guys, Coffee at Quail with Charles Lillard will start back up, I think, on Thursday the 19th. I think that's right. And then Wednesday the 18th, we'll start our early bird special. That's January 18th, 3:30ish in the lecture hall, which is where the FBI class meets, if you know where they are. We call it the lecture hall or the leadership center. And I'll be doing that. There's 66 books in the Bible, so I'm looking forward to it, because we'll do an overview of the Bible the first Wednesday night, and then we'll just start walking through the Bible. And every week we'll do the next book, Genesis, Exodus, on and on. So until we get to Revelation, and we're just going to do, we're just going to take that hour, from that 45 minutes from 4 to 4:45, and we'll watch a Bible Project video. We'll talk about the author. We'll talk about what's going on. We'll talk about where you can see Jesus in the book, that kind of thing. So, we're gonna do the 30,000-foot view of the Bible. Well, there's 66 books, and we don't meet every Wednesday night throughout the year. We'll be shut down as often as there's no Wednesday night dinner. So look for those, and I'll put those out as well. But on top of that, it's going to take us a year and a half to go through 66 books with not meeting every week. So, I think we'll probably meet, what do we meet? 45 Wednesdays a year, something like that. It's not too many that we're out. It's a couple. All right, let's talk about the Doctrine of Humbling. We're going to walk through this with some different characters. Let's start with the very first humbled people. Now, sometimes when we look at humbling in the Bible, people are humbled by their own actions, the consequences to their own behavior and choices. I know that's true about me. It's true about you. Praise the Lord that he's omniscient, and he looks out for us, and he'll intercede. I mean, that's why we call it intercessory prayer, right? Humbling, there's two kinds of will. There's God's active will, and there's his permissive will. And he'll permit you to make stupid choices. You're looking at a prime example of that. I've made so many. I have so many regrets. So many. Have you ever thought, man, if I'd have just done this back then, or not done that, or whatever? But God will humble you, or allow you to be humbled. Let's look at the first character, the first person in the Bible that we see about, other than the Lord, is old brother Adam, right? He knows what he can do. A lot of people want to lay stuff on Eve, and where was Adam that whole time? He wasn't holding up his end of the bargain. He wasn't, how come Adam didn't step between Eve and the serpent? Huh? Where was he? Why didn't he love her as like Christ loved the church, willing to die for her? So you've got that. Then you've got them being kicked out of the garden. Okay, that's one humbling. I want you to see there's a part I love where, now God is omniscient. This is what I love. And we're like this, understand there's a real parental relationship between, God is obviously the parent and we're the child. But even in this, in paradise, they eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and immediately, right, their eyes are open. They realize their situation, and so they go and hide, and they try to get some coverings for themselves. Well, all of a sudden you see in the narrative, in the text, and so God kind of is walking through the garden, and he's like, hey, Adam, where are you at? And I think God's asking that same question today. Where are we in relation to him? Do we hide from him? Do we try to hide from him, even though he's omniscient? Did he really not know where they were? Of course he knew where they were. But that in itself is humbling, when the convicting voice of God says, why aren't we cool anymore? Where are you at? Why are you hiding from me? And so they come out, and I'm paraphrasing all this, of course, but Adam says, well, so we realized we were naked and we were afraid, so we hid. And you know what God does? This just tickles me. He goes, who told you you were naked? Think about that. Who told you you were naked? And so then God does this very parental thing, like you would say to a 5-year-old, or a 3-year-old that had chocolate chip cookie crumbs on their face. He says, were you eating from the tree of the knowledge? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to eat from? Now, did God not know that? I mean, when you tell your grandchild or your kid to stay out of the cookies, and then you walk in the kitchen and the platter is empty and they have crumbs all over their face, you know what happened. Did you eat those cookies? Did you eat of that tree I told you not to? Of course that is humbling. Think about this. The jig is up. You're confronted with your own sin. I mean, did you fill in the blank? I won't even go there. You fill in your own blank. But did you get angry? We'll use some easy ones. Did you get angry when there was really no need for it? Did you let pride get in the way? On and on and on. So this is a very loving, gentle, humbling. But let me tell you something I think was even more humbling. I mean, we haven't even got to Cain and Abel and how the very first family was super dysfunctional. But think about this. So God made them coverings that were adequate to cover their nakedness from the skins of an animal. Something had to die to cover their nakedness, which was a cause of their sin. They caused something else. And then God had to come in because those branches and leaves, that's not going to work. And so their own actions caused God to have to kill one of his creations just to make them the loincloths and the type of covering that would at least take away their shame. Isn't that sad? That's humbling. I mean, look what they made God do. How it humbles me when I read it is, what have I made God do? What thoughts and actions and choices have I made that caused God to shake his head and here we go again. I got to cover up Wade's mess. So, all right. The doctrine of humbling. It's a big deal. But the cool side of that, the flip side of that coin is everybody I read about in the Bible gets humbled and God still uses them. Are you available for God to use? Even though you got to walk barefoot through glass sometimes, or at least on gravel, you get humbled. But, God doesn't like the proud, right? He blesses the humble and he opposes the proud. He lifts up the humble. But sometimes it's kind of like salvation. You got to realize where you really are with God, because he's going to ask, where are you at? All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Have a great week.